Foreign Minister Wang Yi concludes trip to Malaysia with a list of results. Canada is teaming up with the European Union as tariff war with the U.S. heats up. And Chief Executive John Lee meets his Council of Advisors on the upcoming policy address. Good evening, and thank you for joining us. As Foreign Minister Wang Yi concludes his trip to Kuala Lumpur, he said the ASEAN Plus Foreign Ministers meetings in the Malaysian capital have achieved substantial results. He also stressed the need for China and the U.S. to enhance engagement and avoid misjudgments. The annual ASEAN Plus Foreign Ministers meetings in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia have come to a close. Meeting the press, Foreign Minister Wang Yi said the meetings achieved 3 outcomes. They include a confirmed completion of negotiations for the version 3.0 China-ASEAN Free Trade Area. China and ASEAN countries have agreed to submit a pact upgrading the free trade zones to their leaders for approval in October. And China and ASEAN also agreed on a 5-year action plan that specifies collaboration between the two sides in over 40 fields in the coming years. Wang said the two sides agreed to strive to complete consultations next year on the Code of Conduct in the South China Sea, a set of guidelines aiming to manage disputes in the region where Beijing and several ASEAN members have overlapping maritime claims. On the South China Sea arbitration case, Wang said the incident was unilaterally initiated by the Philippines and the ruling had flaws in factual and legal application. Wang questioned if the world's maritime boundaries should be redrawn if the islands and reefs were denied maritime rights, saying that's political manipulation and lacked the legal basis in arbitration. On the sidelines of the meetings, Wang also held talks with U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio. He said the dialogue has helped enhance engagement, prevent miscalculations, and manage differences. He said China and the U.S. as two major powers share extensive common interests and vast space for cooperation. The meeting took place amid U.S. announcements of tariffs imposed on multiple countries, including Southeast Asian nations. Wang Yi said he is confident about China's cooperation with ASEAN. He said China's experience proves that openness leads to progress while isolation causes backwardness. Amid trade tensions with the U.S., Canada has announced the launch of a strategy of industrial dialogue with the European Union in a bid to seek closer economic ties. Nasir Karim has more.
Melanie Joly, Canada's Minister of Industry, stood side by side, literally and symbolically, with European Commission Prosperity and Industrial Strategy Chief Stéphane Séjourne. It was to show the United States and Donald Trump that Canada has some powerful friends.
We are not alone in this world. We need to be closer to our allies. It's been only 15 days that the Prime Minister signed an agreement with the EU to make sure that not only, of course, that we have free trade agreement, but that we are very closely aligned on defense and on all our industrial policies. And we're trying to make sure that ultimately, while the US is becoming weaker, we will become stronger and we will diversify and turn ourselves towards Europe.
In March, the US imposed 25% tariffs on Canadian steel and aluminium products. Canada then slapped countermeasures on US imports with 25% tariffs on goods such as vehicles, meat, dairy products and other produce that are not part of a US-Canada-Mexico trade pact. In retaliation, Trump has threatened 35% tariffs on Canada to take effect on August 1st. Joly said Canada will stand firm.
Canada is the only country on earth, along with China, that has imposed so many counter tariffs. So we have had already a very strong response, and we want to make sure that while we are putting pressure on the American administration, that at the same time we're creating, well, first we're protecting jobs while creating jobs.
Canada's unemployment rate fell slightly to 6.9% in June, with surprise job growth in the wholesale and retail trade, manufacturing, healthcare and social assistance. Joly said the kind of economic diplomacy the country is embarking on with Europe would not be necessary during normal times.
But we're not in normal times, and economic diplomacy is more important than ever, and that's why we need to make sure that while the US is closing its market and really taking its own path regarding protectionism, that we, as a stable and democratic country, continue to have open markets, including with the EU.
Nazri Karim, TVB News.
U.S. President Donald Trump has defended the state and federal responses to deadly flash floods in Texas as he visited Kerr County. David Garrett with more.
Prayer and reflections a short distance away from Camp Mystic, where dozens of children at a Christian summer camp were swept away and killed 1 week ago. Flowers around photos of girls in school uniforms as this community in Texas comes to terms with an unspeakable tragedy. Parishioners coming together to try to understand why sudden torrential rains caused a deadly river surge.
It's an opportunity for us to process our grief, to remember those that we've lost, and to ask God for comfort during this very painful, trying time, and hope for the future, and thanksgiving for the many lives that were saved.
Nobody has any idea how and why a thing like this could happen.
US President Donald Trump came to Kerr County to pay his respects and give assistance. His motorcade was cheered by supporters as it arrived. Trump and the First Lady met with families of victims and others affected.
They gave me this special bracelet from the camp in honor of all of the little girls that they lost their lives. So we are here to honor them and also to give the support, help, and I will be back. I promise to them, and I just pray for them and giving them my strength and love.
Along with Texas Governor Greg Abbott, Donald and Melania spoke with representatives of the emergency services who are still searching the area. Trump praised the Federal Emergency Management Agency. He's criticised FEMA in the past. At a roundtable where Trump was assessing what more could be done, he was asked about why a better warning system was not in place.
Only a bad person would ask a question like that, to be honest with you. I don't know who you are, but only a very evil person would ask a question like that. I think this has been heroism. This has been incredible, really, the job you've all done. It's easy to sit back and say, oh, what could have happened here or there, you know. Maybe we could have done something differently. This was a thing that has never happened before.
Texas officials say there are plans for a new procedure to try to avert anything like this happening again. The search goes on for around 170 missing people. No survivors have been found since the Guadalupe River's deadly rise last week. David Garrett, TVB News.
Chief Executive John Lee held luncheon meetings with the Chief Executive's Council of Advisors, or CECA, from July 9th to 11th to listen to their views for the forthcoming policy address and the overall development of Hong Kong. Lee welcomed the 3 new members, including Dr. Zhu Min, who served as the Deputy Managing Director of the IMF and the Deputy Governor of the People's Bank of China, along with the heads of 2 enterprises of Hangzhou's 6 Little Dragons, the founder of Brainco, Han Bi-cheng, and the founder of Unitree Robotics, Wang Xinxin. During the meetings, the advisors emphasized Hong Kong is bestowed with its unique advantages of connecting with both the mainland and the world. The CECA conducted in-depth discussions on a range of important issues under 3 major themes. These included economic advancement and sustainability, innovation and entrepreneurship, as well as regional and global collaborations. Starting next Monday, the Social Welfare Department will start a trial of a collaboration with the hospital authority to alert social welfare officers to assist the care recipient of hospitalized low-income caregivers. This comes as last year's policy address proposed a caregiver database to identify high-risk cases. Labor and Welfare Secretary Chris Sun said the move aims to plug the caregiving gap immediately if the caregivers fall sick. Sun explained the measure is expected to benefit 9,000 caregivers receiving low-income subsidies. The Social Welfare Department will arrange meals or temporary care for the dependent. The Labor and Welfare Chief added authorities are developing a mandatory child abuse reporting guide. That's to complement the relevant child abuse reporting ordinance, which will take effect in January next year. A dedicated website will be rolled out to help professionals assess cases as well, with training to ensure they can use the tool effectively. And still ahead, passing out parade at the Police College at Wang Chu Kang. A look at how the Belt and Road Initiative helps Kazakhstan. And meet the winners of a naming contest joining the Customs Canine Force. Welcome back. Russia launched a new barrage of drones and missiles in an overnight attack on Ukraine on Saturday. Daniel Rao tells us more.
The Russian attacks targeted the west of Ukraine. Ukrainian Foreign Minister Andriy Sybiha said Russia continues to escalate its terror, launching another barrage of hundreds of drones and missiles, damaging residential areas and killing and injuring civilians. He called for stronger sanctions against Russia. Ruslan Zabaranyuk, the governor of the Chernivyetsky region, said 2 people were killed and 14 others wounded as Russian drones and a missile struck the region's largest city, Chernivtsi, located about 40 kilometers from Ukraine's border with Romania. Meanwhile, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said the U.S. has resumed military supplies to Ukraine. Zelensky added senior officials in Kyiv will work on military cooperation with Washington's Special Envoy Keith Kellogg next week. U.S. President Donald Trump said on Thursday the United States would supply weapons to Ukraine via NATO and that he would make a major statement on Russia on Monday. Zelensky also provided an overview of reports on difficult frontline areas where he said Ukrainian troops had distinguished themselves in the past week. These included the northeast Sumy region, where Russian forces have established a foothold in recent weeks, and parts of the neighboring Kharkiv region subject to constant Russian attacks. That's in addition to frontline areas in the Donetsk region, which have been under Russian pressure for months. Dan Rao, TVB News.
Police Commissioner Joe Chow presided over the first passing out parade since he took office earlier this year at the Hong Kong Police College. Timothy Lee reports.
43 probationary inspectors and 219 recruit police constables graduated today at the passing out parade at Hong Kong Police College at Wong Chuk Kang. While most were Chinese, one was a Sikh constable of Indian descent. It is part of Police Commissioner Joe Chow's effort to roll out policies encouraging residents of different faith backgrounds to join the police force. Chow, who served as reviewing officer for the first time since taking up the post of police commissioner, said some 1,220 people joined the force in the last fiscal year, which was a 25% increase year-on-year. He added that the police application figures in the first quarter of this year saw an increase of 10% year-on-year. When asked about the recent charges laid on members of pro-Hong Kong independence group Hong Kong Democratic Independence Alliance, Chow stressed the continuous existence of national security risks in Hong Kong. He reminded the public to stay vigilant and not to lose sight of national security in times of peace. Meanwhile, regarding the recent controversy of mainlanders sneaking into the city via jet skis, the police commissioner said authorities will continue to strengthen cooperation with their mainland counterparts to tackle such illegal activities. Timothy Lee, TVB News.
Among the new batch of police constables is a policeman of Sikh Indian descent, the first in many years. He hopes to inspire more non-ethnic Chinese young people to join the force. Samantha Lowe shares his story.
27-year-old policeman Singh Palvinderjit grew up in Hong Kong. As a Sikh, his turban is specially designed by the police to accommodate his religious requirements. However, he thinks that this should not make him different from the other police constables.
There's nothing different in my uniform when compared to other police constables. It's only that the cap is exchanged for my turban, and I'm allowed to wear some religious items.
He says that being able to understand Punjabi and Hindi, on top of speaking fluent Cantonese, would help his handling of cases involving non-ethnic Chinese people. During a training session, he helped to communicate in 3 such cases within just 8 hours. His aspiration to join the police force comes from his father, who served in the Correctional Services Department for 30 years after trying and failing to join the police force.
When I was growing up, I saw my dad wearing the CSD uniform every day, and that led me to want to go for discipline services. But as I grew up, I saw or read a lot of stories about my great-grandfather. He was responsible for recruiting the initial batch of Sikh police recruits. So I wanted to continue that legacy onwards.
As the first police constable in many years to wear a turban, he hopes to show other non-ethnic Chinese people that it is possible to join the police force as a member of the ethnic minority. According to the police, in the past 14 years, 179 non-ethnic Chinese have successfully enlisted in the police force. Samantha Lowe, TVB News.
Chief Executive John Lee met with American stand-up comedian Jimmy O Yang. The agency of O Yang posted on Weibo that as an alumnus of YN College Hong Kong, Jimmy O Yang recently met with Lee, who also attended YN. Also present was Nicholas Ho, commissioner for Belt and Road, who was O Yang's former schoolmate, and the trio talked about their school life. The city leader praised O Yang's performances for having captivated global audiences and showcased Hong Kong's cultural inclusivity and vibrancy. The city added, with new concert venues and improved booking policies, Hong Kong aims to attract more international artists to perform in the city. The Customs and Excise Department had earlier hosted a naming contest for several puppies that are undergoing training to join the Customs Canine Force. Timothy Lee tells us more.
Around a dozen residents met the newest members of the Customs and Excise Department's Canine Force at its Regional Dog Training Center near the Hong Kong-Zhuhai-Macau Bridge earlier today. The 8 puppies, named Callie, Hannah, Aqua, Mountain, Polar, Isla, Odie, and Nina, collectively spell out champion, symbolizing Customs officers' wish for them to succeed in their task of being a part of law enforcement.
I wish I could take more photos and interact with the puppies more, because they are really, really adorable, and I feel like they are our Hong Kong's treasures.
The Canine Force consists of 4 specialities, targeting narcotics, explosives, counterfeit banknotes, and firearms. As of now, there are 70 teams of dogs that are currently active. Since 2020, the Customs and Excise Department has successfully bred a total of 36 puppies with the specific goal of joining the Canine Force. This, as some of their handlers recall their experiences of raising the latest batch of furry law enforcers.
I would say taking care of champions is actually quite challenging, but at the same time very rewarding. Because their mother and father, Lady and Dobie, are very competitive detector dogs with excellent detection achievements, and therefore their babies are also like their fathers and mother, very smart, very active, and very eager to explore. Witnessing their development and growth is actually very, I would say, very unforgettable and very meaningful, and it's like what we input them, they will grow with our efforts and also our experience.
The Customs and Excise Department said puppies that have loyally served in its canine force will get to retire once they turn 8 years old, by which time they will either be adopted by their handlers or public volunteers, with the former being prioritized. Timothy Lee, TVB News.
Kazakhstan, the largest country in Central Asia, relocated its capital to the northern city of Astana in 1997. In recent years, Astana has seen rapid infrastructure development with the help of the Belt and Road Initiative. This is the largest mosque in Central Asia, also among the top 10 biggest globally. Located in Kazakhstan's capital, Astana, and built in 2022, the striking blue-domed Muslim prayer hall can hold 200,000 worshippers. The Museum of Future Energy, with 80 meters long in diameter, alongside the Tree of Life Tower and this pyramid, known as the Palace of Peace and Reconciliation, are among the landmarks for the Kazakh capital. Astana's first light rail, built by a Chinese company, stretches 22.4 kilometers, will begin trial operations this September.
China can help us, our country, to develop more, and I think we should be grateful for your investments.
Astana replaced Almaty as Kazakhstan's capital in 1997 and now boasts a population of around 1.55 million. Driven by projects under China's Belt and Road Initiative, Astana's skyline and surfaces have been reshaped by Chinese investment. Chinese entrepreneurs who have moved to Astana after the COVID pandemic see huge potential there. This investor said the land is vast and resource-rich in coal, oil, and natural gas. Bilateral trade between China and Central Asia hit a record $94.8 billion last year, with Kazakhstan accounting for 46% of that. The second China-Central Asia summit held in June fast-tracked a new wave of investment as well. They include a $200 million project to develop this BRICS-themed business park. And that's the news. Thank you for watching.